Welcome to Meeple, uniting players around the world. A 30-minute exploration of PJ and Gareth's board game experiences from across both sides of the Atlantic. Each episode, they share their thoughts and opinions on the world of board games, including their favourite themes, games, hot topics, and much, much more.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 28, Board Games in Focus. We are going to talk about the top three board games, not top three, the most recent three board games that have hit our tables. I'm PJ.
I'm Gareth.
And we are ready to begin. So, Gareth, how have you been?
I've been well. I'm definitely better. The cold's nearly gone. The cough is nearly gone. A little bit of cold, but we feel 100 times better than last week.
So, have you been able to get some games to your table recently?
And we played some games. In fact, this episode we're doing slightly earlier because we've got games night, which I forgot we had a podcast to record for. So I have dragged you away from Gen Con arrangements, which you have now succeeded at.
Yep. You are a busy man, and you are so busy you don't have time to schedule me. You just have to fit me in little
every
increments.
Week we schedule a mishap of not putting diary things in the diary. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this because actually we have gotten some games in.
That's great.
At least 2 or 3 times this week, which is far better. I even posted on Instagram a few times, and that has surprised people.
I saw that. Yeah,
I know.
It was good to see you.
Check me out. So I've I've just looked through the last 5 games I've played and picked 2 relatively new and 1 older game.
Well, what to tell us? Same thing. We had our games weekend with our friends this past weekend. So I was going to talk about 3 games that hit the table this weekend. So,
okay. Well, the games I've got Motor City, which is a roll and write from the same guys that did Three Sisters and Fleet the Dice game. So Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback. I'm going to talk about Maglev Metro, making trains with awesome components, and Fishing Lessons, which is a solo game from the Bud and Shy set of games. So Wallet Games, which has been played numerous times on my own because it's solo.
Nice.
What have you chosen?
Nice. Well, I got an opportunity to play Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small.
I love it.
The 2-player by you.
Yeah.
Man, that's really good. I'm not a big fan of Agricola, but the 2-player version is just, it really sang to me, and we got to play that Thursday night, and that was pretty exciting. And then we hit Terraforming Mars yesterday, along with the Adventures of Robin Hood for the second time, and that's going to be a fun one to talk about. So, yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Why don't you lead us off?
I'll just start with Motor City, which is fresh in my mind because I only played it like an hour ago, and I think we're likely to teach it tonight. So let's see how I get on. So the Roll and Rights by Ben and Matt, I absolutely adore. So I was always a fan of Fleet, the original card game, that then turned into a Roll and Write, which all of these games have 2 sheets. So it's 2 sheets, lots and lots of combination opportunities. Then they released Three Sisters, which was about growing crops. And then this one is, I'll describe it as Kanban by Vital Lacerda, but as a roll and write. So it is car production, you're testing cars, you're engineering, you're selling those cars through dice selection. So pool of dice, everyone is, it says 3 players, there's then 7 dice. Each player, 10 dice. Each player takes a turn, takes a die, and that die might be one of 4 actions on the board. And the next person goes, and then there's 1 dice left over, which is a pool dice that everyone chooses from. But it's the amount of combinations. I mean, it is just like, I love it. Just do this, and that does a combo, and that does another combo. This is our 3rd, 4th game. So you're trying to work out what's the efficiency. My scores are probably not very good, but there's loads of ways to score, which I haven't found any optimal path yet for. But it's the fact that you've got the 2 sheets, and it's just everything connects. And I love a medium weight roll and write. So that's been hitting our table aplenty. It plays 1 to 5. It's probably about 45 minutes. We taught it to my youngest, who's now 14, and they say 14 on the box, and she had no issues playing that. And it's kind of midway. It's a 2.89, so it's not a lightweight roll and write for the family. But anyone who's maybe played some of the others, or maybe Hadrian's Wall kind of level of complexity. Yep. It's a wonderful, wonderful roll and write. So I recommend all 3 of those from the series. So check those out. But if you're after the newest one, check out Motor City. That's my
Motor
first.
City. That's awesome. That sounds really good.
I think you guys would like it. I think you definitely like it. Yeah.
That sounds cool. And it sounds like a nice addition to the collection of roll and writes that we've accumulated over the past few years. So yeah. So I want to talk about Uwe's 2-player. Agricola, all creatures, big and small. We picked that up just a few weeks ago while we were traveling in St. Louis, and man, it is so good. So let's be fair. The best thing about Agricola are the little animals, the wooden animals.
Yeah.
And this game cuts out all the food and the farmers and all the shenanigans and cuts Agricola down to its base, what makes it so good, and that is the animals. A lot of replayability. You have like this whole bag of little tiles, although you're not, tiles to lay in your farm that represent special buildings that you can build during the course of the game. And there's so many of them, but you only put like 8 out each game. So there's tons of replayability. You have 3 workers. Each of you have 3 workers. There's the shared board in the middle with, where you place your workers to get your resources and, of course, to get your animals. And that's really where the scoring is. It's buildings, and it's having a certain number of animals. There are 4 types of animals: pigs, sheep, horses, and cows. And if you have 3 or less at the end of the game, you lose 3 points per animal type. So you and I playing this game, we both need to get a minimum of 4 of each of the animals, right, in our farms. And then it's a race to get them to breed more and score more points.
It's the multipliers. I remember playing this game, and the longer you leave them out, the more animals build up on the piles, different animals. Yep. And it's just that timing, and with a 2-player, it's pretty. Yeah, if you don't get the timing right, you can really lose out on that negative point. Yep.
It's really seamless and smooth with 2 players, and again, you get the best part of Agricola is the animals. So you do have these cool wooden wood and coal and wheat components. Those are so you don't have all the corn and the pumpkins and the other things in the big Agricola. You don't have to worry about feeding.
There's no feeding. I'm about to say that. No feeding. Hooray!
Yep. It's just getting the animals in your farm as quickly as possible. And you can be penalized. You can expand your farm because eventually you run out of room for building. So you need to expand. And there's an action for that. But you can be penalized if you don't fill in your expansion. So you've got to expand at the right time and build at the right time. So that's Agricola. All animals, all big and small.
I think it's all creatures big and small.
All creatures big and small.
It's 11 years old now, that game. 2012. Midway.
And it just hit my table.
Yeah. I highly rate it. There's an expansion with more tiles, but to be honest, because you've got obviously the core game tiles, and then you mix 5 or 6 tiles come out.
Yep.
It's very rare that you even get through seeing the core game tiles, let alone another pack of other buildings. But yeah, great 2-player game. I'm pleased you played that. Yeah, definitely. Lovely game.
You have that game, right?
Yeah, we have that. And then
so when we did our episode about our wives and their choices, I think wasn't Agricola on? No. Agricola was on Carrie's list. No,
I must admit, if I had a sense to carry about this game, I think she would have added it onto her list. I don't know what would have dropped out, but she really enjoys this game because of that 2-player. It's fast player, and Yeah, it gives you the Agricola fix or itch without having to
pull out the massive table. Yeah. So I definitely recommend that. If you're looking for a 2-player game, that's the way to go.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah. So what's next for your table?
So we've got Maglev. I've got Maglev Metro. So this game came out in 2021. I first saw it at the UK Games Expo that year. And so it's basically it's a train game, and plays 1 to 4 players. 2.79 out of 5, so not overly complicated. It's currently got 2 maps. I'm going to say Manhattan and Berlin. One side is slightly simpler. So Manhattan is better for new players. The other side is better for experienced players. And basically, there are robots and passengers who you need to ship around those 2 towns. What's lovely about it is that the game starts with maybe 3 stations built. Every player's got a set of clear tiles with a piece of track on it. So you end up building and overlaying on each other's tracks to design like a perfect tube map. So every game is unique. You can't leave a underground station more than 2 exits. You're trying to plan your route. It's not like an 18xx game. This is a bit of network planning, but also route optimization. So the game starts with these robots. So there's bronze, silver, and gold. And on your player boards, you have actions. So there's track building, and there's pick up passengers, drop off passengers. There's things like building stations. If you haven't got a robot in there working for you, then you can't take the action. And if you have 1 man or 1 robot in the track, you can place 1 track up to maximum of 4 robots in that section. So you can pick up and lay 4 tracks. But of course, there's not enough robots around for everybody. So you're trying to, and you can move robots and rebalance, but you can pick up with just 1 robot. If you've got 4 robots in that upgrade section, then you can pick up 4 passengers. As you build, there's different buildings go down with different colors, passengers, and then they go into the bag. And so you can pick up and refill different color passengers. And then you've got scoring mechanics, which I won't get into. But it's really good. It's pretty fast playing. We play, I say, primarily with 3, but every game is different because you're all overlaying these tiles. You've got scoring cards that obviously give you unique ways of scoring. So you're never quite sure whether people are trying to collect sets or they're trying to do route navigation. It looks amazing on the table because of this transparent or these clear tiles, hexagonal tiles with bends and straights on it. And imminently, there's 6 more maps which were kickstarted, I'm going to say 12, 18 months ago. So they bring mega robots, and London comes to the table. I think there's a map that's on Mars that bring other mechanics. So I cannot wait to see that. But I say definitely check it out if you're after a train game that isn't super geeky. It looks uber cool on the table, and is not that overly complex to play. So it's 2.79. This is not a game that's going to take all night. I'm saying maybe 90 minutes, maybe max. It's a lovely game. Maglev Metro.
I love it.
That is mine. Have you played?
I haven't. No.
Yeah.
It's on the list. It's like we keep seeing it. There's just, I find all the time, it's like there's so many games, right? I think that's a dilemma in our hobby, right? And it's like there's so many games. Maglev Metro.
And it works well with 2 players as well.
That's a key. I love that. That's awesome. Maglev Metro. I'm going to look out for that. Cool.
What's next from you?
Yeah. So yesterday we played Terraforming Mars. Good. I don't know. Is Terraforming Mars a classic now?
I sold it. Recently.
It's 2016 by Jacob Frixelius. This game is just so good. So I happen to know a few other friends who, because of the app on their phones or their tablets, they sold their copy as well because it's a great solo game. I have the app and I play it solo, but we went all in. We got the big box with the 3-dimensional hexes, everything. In fact, we went more all in. My wife bought a neoprene mat that it fits everything. The Turmoil expansion, Venus, the colonies. There's a place for everything. And it's that extra, she bought it on Etsy, and it's an extra grippy surface, which is so nice. Because
that's amazing.
The hexes on Mars won't get knocked around, which is great. I've heard Terraforming Mars kind of described as an engine builder. I don't really know that that's necessarily true. It's definitely resource management. There's some hand management, but yeah, I mean, there were no surprises. This is what I tell everyone, okay? Because I'm kind of like the Terraforming Mars champion. This is like one game. I don't normally brag because I'm usually not that good at games. In fact, you usually hear me tell you stories about how I lose. So I would say since we bought Terraforming Mars years ago, hundreds of victories. And I think my wife's only beat me 3, maybe 4 times.
This surprises me. I thought this was Katie's game.
So it is her game in that she loves it. But here's the thing that I learned early on.
Cheat.
The cards... that's exactly what she accused me of yesterday. She said, why do your greeneries only cost 3 plants, but it costs the rest of us 8, right? So the name of the game is Terraforming Mars. If you want to win, then terraform Mars.
It's in the name.
Stop playing cards. Stop wasting your money on cards that you hope to play in a round or two. Because you know this, anyone who hasn't played it, at the end of each round, which are called generations, you get 4 new cards to add to your hand. Each card you want to keep, you got to pay $3. That's expensive.
Yeah.
I need that money, right? Unless it's going to increase my plant production to build greeneries, or my money production, or my heat to increase the temperature, I don't care. So I just discard them, and I focus on heat, greeneries, and oceans. And I terraform Mars. I always have the most greeneries on the planet. I always have the most everything. And I win. And that's why, because I don't get bogged down in all the cards that do these cute, fun things.
But that's my problem. I always go for the cards because I like the whole set out my table.
And we play with every expansion but Turmoil. So we played with Prelude. We played with the Colonies. We played with what's the other one? Colonies, Prelude. Why I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, so there was kind of a theme that unfolded in the course of the game. So I had a card where I was creating microbes. So I was adding microbes to the card so I could take them off to increase the heat to compensate for the fact that I was not producing a lot of heat. Then my friend Eric, he's got cards that are stealing microbes. Katie's got a card that she's running a zoo and putting animals on it. And another one, she's got another card where she's developing bacteria. So it was like there was all these microbes. If you weren't making microbes, you were stealing them.
You were not in, yeah.
But that was Terraforming Mars, and it's so good. So good game.
I sold it purely because I only ever play it solo. And so as you say, the app does that job perfectly for you.
It does.
But I do enjoy it. I do enjoy that game. So if anybody, says up playing it, I'd sit down. It's not, I'm anti it. Good game.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And it accommodates up to 5. So there's room at our table if you want to come play Terraforming Mars.
When we get to you, we shall come and play it.
Yep. So what's your third and final game?
So my last game is a game called Fishing Lessons. It's a whole... how many cards are in the game? There is 18 cards in this game.
Oh, okay.
It's basically a range of the Wallet games by Button Shy Games. So Sprolopolis, Wheels and Wagons, which I've now forgotten. Mm-hmm. But Fishing Lessons arrived about a week and a half ago. Another recent Kickstarter. How do I describe it? Yeah, it's a solo fishing game. So you lay out 7 lake cards, which are face down, and on those cards are I think 2 fish. So they might be a carp or a trout, whatever it may be. I don't know which fish they are. So they're laid out randomly. And then you choose one family member from 3 cards. So each family member is different sided. There might be grandpa, the grandson, the mother-in-law. You choose the card and you put it face down. The only thing that card does, it says what is the unique winning condition. So maybe the son needs 3 fish classed as C and 2 fish classed as T. Carp and trout. They've probably got meanings. And then you've got 8 lesson cards in your hand. So the game will end when you go to draw a lesson card, which you can't pick up. So it's limited. Each lesson card you play to the right, and then so you've got 3 cards in your hand out of those 8. And the lesson card basically, where you put your family member above the lake is their boat. So you might move it. So there's usually 2 actions on the card. It might be to move to the left, and then you'll fish, and that might be flip the card directly underneath you, flip the card to your left, flip your card to the right. And what you need to do is move your boats left and right. You can leave the last lesson either there, or the next card you play, you can swap it over, or you can basically position them anywhere left or right of the last lesson cards. And then you have to activate them all in order. So it's like an engine or chain of cards you're going to play. And to win, you need to have the 3 C's and the 2 T's face up on the board, no more, no less. Any other card that hasn't got those letters on it must be face down. So you're trying to push your boat around, find the cards that need with the fish on it, because as you move, you end up flipping the cards face down, that the ones you want. So it's a nice little puzzly game. The artwork is wonderful. The choices of where do I put this card and drive that engine. I think I've played about 5 times. I've won once. And that's just part of that. Just like, yes, I was so close, but I ran out of cards on the last draw, which I guess is as frustrating as fishing. All the fish were there. You knew where they were, but were they biting or were they flipping in this case? No, they weren't. 1.25 out of 5, 10, 15-minute games. It's always in what's now been in my work bag for the last couple of weeks. 8+. There's a couple of expansion packs that gives them more family members and some bigger fish. But check it out if you want a very quick solo game. And if you like fishing, that is Fishing Lessons from Bud and Shy.
So I can take it that when I come to see you, you're going to teach me some fishing lessons.
We can do fishing lessons. I have got fishing equipment in my garage. It has not been used in about 15 years.
That's okay. I don't fish in real life either.
Yeah. So I haven't fished for a long time, but I don't mind a spot of fishing. So that's Fishing Lessons. You're going to talk about Adventures of Robin Hood.
Yes. 2021 by Michael Menzel. So, we picked that up, I guess that's 2 years ago now. It was during the height of the pandemic. It is a cooperative, scenario-driven storytelling campaign. It's just so brilliant. My wife and I played it when we were in lockdown, really enjoyed it, but it's been sitting there on the shelf, and we're like, you know what? It plays for. We've got our 2 friends coming over. Why don't we give it a go? And they really enjoyed it. So you've played it, yes?
Yes. Yeah, played it 3 players. Loved it.
Well, then, as you know, right, you put the map in front of you, and it's, Sherwood Forest and the castle and everything. And you play one of the 4 characters, right? You play Robin Hood, Will Scarlet, Maid Marian, and Little John. And it'll tell you to flip over like these cardboard shits they're not molded, they're not built. I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? They're embedded in the board, right?
Inset into the board.
Yeah. And then you just flip them over at certain points in the game. So if you're going to fight a guard, you have these cubes that you put in the bag. Purple ones for the bad guys, white ones are good. So depending upon what equipment you have, you through the course of the narrative, you pull the cubes out of the bag one at a time, and when you draw a white one, you've beaten the guard, and then you flip him over. And there's a bonus printed on the inset, right? That's revealed when you remove the knight from the board and then turn him over. It's really cool. Not only is that interesting, it's the story removes the game. I love how because you just have that book, right? There's no dice. There's nothing like that. You have a bag. There's a disc of each one of your colors, and that's how you determine whose turn it is. Someone pulls a disc out. Green. Okay, well, whoever's green playing Robin Hood, you move. And you move because you have those wooden, like you have two medium length.
Measuring lengths.
Yeah, basically. You have two medium length and one long. And if you don't use the long one, you're basically saving strength.
Yeah.
So add a white cube to the bag, which is good because you want more white cubes in the bag. It's just so good.
It slows you down. Those, the how far can you travel measuring wooden things, whatever you want to call them.
But they're so good.
They're so good, and the story's great, and the fact that you can reset and play it again. Mm-hmm. It's try not to do any spoilers. It's a wonderful storytelling game that definitely worth trying at least once, and plays pretty quick. You can do a couple of stories, or you can. We were doing two stories at a time. Generally, we played.
So Friday night, the four of us played the first 3 chapters.
Okay. Yeah.
And we did that in about 2.5 hours. And then last night, after we were done playing Terraforming Mars, and other little games, we decided, well, let's play the next chapter. That one went a little longer, but we're halfway through. So yeah. But that's the Adventures of Robin Hood, and you've gotta, if you haven't played, it's so different from most games. And if you enjoy story-driven campaigns, right? If that's not for you, then obviously don't bother. Yeah. It's a really good story. It unfolds naturally. It's I don't know. I just can't say anything more about it. It's just so good. Definitely pick it up. Yeah.
I mean, the theme, obviously English set in medieval castles. Mm-hmm. It's just a good piece of English folklore. And there's an expansion, I believe, this year. The Adventures of Robin Hood, Friar Tuck in Danger, but I don't know much about it.
Which is kind of awesome because Friar Tuck, who is like a key character in the story, is not featured at all in the game. So we're kind of excited to see Friar Tuck be introduced.
Yeah.
So I was just looking on Board Game Geek, the expansion for that, and I'm like, okay, that'll be fun.
I've just opened it up. Looks like it adds some new tasks, a little bit of, so you can add it on without having to play it through again. But yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah, I agree. All the games tonight are games I love.
Right?
So we've done well to pick 6 games that neither of us knew what we're going to bring to the table.
A solo game, a 2-player game, a storytelling.
Games for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, check us out on our choice selection without communicating or putting things in our diaries so that we didn't miss a meeting.
We should do this more often. We should stop planning and just
rock up. Far easier.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back again very, very soon with more episodes. We've got after last week's episode with Wingspan, we had quite a few requests for people to come and join us. I was saying on the sofa, but on the podcast. So anyone else wants to join, do send in a message. We are just planning out when our next special guest, or maybe 2 or 3, will share their audio with us.
Yeah, we've not forgotten about you. It's just Gareth and I are getting everything lined up, and
it's just
that's all it is. So
okay. With that, I wish you a farewell, and thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Please subscribe, and as always, we love to hear your thoughts and ideas. So make sure to leave those in the comments. And don't forget, you can also chat with us both on Instagram @Meeple to Meeple.